All right, we're live. Oh my gosh. Okay, so welcome to Geek Talk. Just a quick little pulse on everybody talking about quiz funnels today, and application funnels. I'm curious if anybody else is noticing a significantly increasing slowdown with Chrome. It's funny. I don't know if it's just because I'm like hyper aware of it now, or if it's actually a thing. But whatever it is, the struggle is real. So, okay, so if you are joining me, go ahead and give me a little, hey, how's it going? I'm going to go ahead and open up my mobile so I can answer any questions. All right, awesome. So today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about application funnels and quiz funnels. And the reason why we decided to talk about this today is because it seems like there's a lot of questions and a lot of conversation around it right now in the ClickFunnels community. And because if you're doing a quiz funnel or an application funnel, ultimately you have to make some tech decisions around the survey tool that you're going to use. And so I thought that we would dive deep into the pros and the cons, the goods, the bads, and the uglies of what we have used over the years in order to do that. So we have a ton of examples, and we're going to dive into that. Okay. So let's first talk about, and hello, is it Navid and Esmeralda? Hello, hello. It's so nice to see you guys. Okay, so the first thing is, as you guys know, is the same place that I start off in everything is I want to map the journey of what we're talking about when we're talking about quiz funnels and application funnels. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to, of course, pull up Miro because it is my journey mapping of choice. So quiz and application funnels. All right. So let's kind of break this down a little bit. And yes, I know I spelled application wrong. For all of you detail OCD folks in the audience, I will help you out here. And of course, I spelled funnels wrong. How can we spell funnels wrong? Come on now. Okay. So, when we're talking about the quiz funnel and the application funnel, they're actually at, very different parts in the overall linchpin, or if you are still in the value ladder, they're at different parts, right? So let's talk a little bit about just the nuances of each one. Okay, so in a quiz funnel, the primary purpose of a quiz funnel is as a lead gen technique. Okay. Again, I repeat that because I think a lot of people lose sight of what the purpose of a quiz funnel is. So a quiz funnel is for the purpose of lead generation. I think that where you see quiz funnels probably have the most significant uptick is if you've ever studied any of Jenna Kutcher's funnels or Amy Porterfield. They use quiz funnels a lot, and I think they do it masterfully. So you can see she's currently doing her free Zero workshop. I think it might not be on there because she's running that promotion right now for her channel. Oh, right there, take the quiz. So if you're interested in understanding like what a really good lead gen is, this quiz lead gen is solid. I will say that if you do follow Jenna Kutcher, she also has a really cool podcast where she brings on the woman who helped her make her quiz funnel. And they talk about the nuances of quiz funnels. So if you really want to get into quiz funnels, I would recommend that podcast episode, which I can drop. And then I can also put it here. Hey, David. All right. So the biggest thing with a quiz funnel, right, is you can see here that like it completely removed them and put them right into the quiz. Okay. So again, the purpose is for lead gen. That's the primary purpose. The secondary purpose, which I think is super cool nuance of a quiz funnel, that it allows you to have more personalized and targeted follow-up emails for people who do not buy, right? So typically you would have a quiz funnel here, which essentially acts as your lead gen, right? At the end of the quiz, you may give them a report or something special, recommendations, and that's why they're doing it. And then you would essentially have some kind of sales page, right? Where you're getting them into something. Now, from the quiz funnel to the sales page, especially with 2.0, you can get kind of fancy and actually take them to different variations of a sales page potentially based on what they say in the quiz, right? But we'll get into that level of sophistication here in a second. So let's just say, for all intents and purposes, they take the quiz funnel, they get the results, they get the report, and then you take them to a sales funnel. But let's just say that they don't buy, right? So if they don't buy, well, now you have this rich amount of information here to know how you could potentially follow up with them, right? You can have a more targeted email campaign based on their quiz results. Where I see a lot of people go wrong in terms of quiz funnels is the quizzes they make are very leading, and it's all for the purpose of the marketer and not actually for the purpose of the person taking it. I think the reason why we as human beings love quiz funnels is because I think we're always usually looking to find out a little bit more about ourselves or understand and learn something through the quiz process, right? There's a great company called Score App that if you, again, are interested in really using quizzes as a lead gen technique, I think they're one of the best companies out there that talk about ways to do that. Plus their tool is pretty amazing. We'll talk about that in just a second. But so that is the purpose of a quiz funnel. It's for the purpose of lead gen. And then driving to the sale, if they don't have a sale process, right? Or if they don't buy, right? Then you can have a very targeted, that's not what I want. Sorry, this is what I meant in terms of the Chrome. It's very, very laggy. All right, so here we go. So then you could have a targeted email follow-up. Follow-up based on quiz responses. And I'm going to go into this deeper today on the show. So this is, you can have a targeted based on follow-up based on the quiz. And that's if they don't buy, right? So very cool. I can have that right there. Awesome. Okay. So again, quiz funnel for the purpose of lead gen. And if they don't buy, I can have a more personalized, targeted follow-up email in order to bring them into my world. All right. So that is what a quiz funnel is. Now let's talk about just super, super high level. How is that different than an application funnel? So typically with an application funnel, this is one where it uses reverse psychology to say, we're only taking a certain amount of people. You have to qualify in order to work with me. So I'm going to ask you basically like an application to say, are you a viable candidate? Now, I've seen this used a lot of different ways. I've seen it used where in integrity, right? It really is like, I really only want to work with people who are 250K or above or annual, right? Or I only want to work with people who are wanting to be guided facilitators. I'm not interested in working with people who are interested in writing a book, you know? So there could be legit qualifications with an application funnel that I am looking for to say, if they don't qualify, I don't want to spend my high earner time on a phone call, right? Or I don't want somebody to come into the program that is just not in a financial position or time position or value position to actually take advantage of what I do, right? So they would go through the application, and then ultimately after the application, if they qualify, if you're having a qualifying event, then it would be book a call, right? Now, the interesting thing is that if they qualify or don't qualify, if they don't qualify, then you can give them into a different funnel, right? Or a downsell or something like that. If they do qualify, they would go to book a call. Again, just like in the quiz funnel above, in the application funnel, let's say that they end up not buying, but they are qualified, right? So I can know that based on the call to say, okay, this person did not buy. They scheduled an appointment, they booked, they got on the call, they didn't buy. So maybe they just need some more time to warm up. Well, again, based on their application results, I can have more targeted email campaigns in order to bring them into my world. Now, in order to do that, you would need to ask really specific questions on the application funnel in order to have intelligent follow-up email, right? So this would be follow-up for non-buyers, okay? And that's after the they didn't book. Okay. Now you can see the strategy is a little bit different. One is for the purpose of, I just want to increase the number of people on my list. The other one is I want to be more selective, or at least present to be more selective in the people who work with us or get into these high ticket offers. Okay. So the strategy and the reason you'd use those is very different, but from a technology standpoint and the tech that you would use, there's a lot of similarities. Okay. So let's go first to the quiz funnel, or the like universal tool that you can use for everything. So the universal tool that we use for everything, whether you're in ClickFunnels 1.0 or 2.0, is Typeform. The reason we use Typeform is twofold. One is, yes, you can brand it and it looks better, but more importantly, Typeform natively integrates with ActiveCampaign, okay, which is really important. Or if you're using any other CRM tools, it could potentially integrate with those too, but it natively integrates, and it has pretty sophisticated logic. So especially in the case if I want to qualify somebody and bring them through or not, a Typeform can handle all of that. The last thing of why we love Typeform is that it has something called a hidden variable. So if somebody does opt in or give you their information in the funnel in some other way, you can pass that information over into Typeform so you can keep a consistent thread for the people that you're serving. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and log into Typeform just to kind of give you a sense of this. Plus, the Typeform experience is a really lovely experience. And it really nicely embeds into a ClickFunnels page. Okay, so I am going to go to Journey Crafting. I think I have a couple good ones that we can use. Yes. Okay. So we have a couple in here that we have used where, again, you can just integrate it right in or embed it right into your ClickFunnels account and make it almost look seamless. If you get the $59 a month plan, you can even take off the Typeform branding and make it really on brand exactly as you need to. Let me see. Which would be a good one just to kind of show you guys a little bit more advanced logic. Okay, so let's go ahead. And this was one of the quizzes that we did for one of our clients. And again, this would be embedded into a ClickFunnels page. Oh no, that is actually for social media, something totally different. So let me go here and that's for social. That's for social. We'll have to at some point talk to you guys about how you can use it for social too, because it's awesome. All right. I think this was an application funnel. Okay. So this one is, again, this would be more in the application funnel, and it's embedded inside of a ClickFunnels page. So the cool thing about this is then we can add logic, and we can say, do they qualify? Do they not qualify? And then in Typeform, you can handle redirects. So based on whatever the answers are to these questions, I can have multiple redirects here so I can control the experience. Again, super slick, super easy. I can embed it right in. And the coolest thing is that in the connection options inside of Typeform, the connection options are vast. So you can see here that I can integrate it. We normally integrate it with ActiveCampaign, but there's a whole host of other things that I can natively integrate my Typeform responses into. We've used the Airtable, we've used ActiveCampaign, I've actually used Dropbox on occasion. And so even though I despise Dropbox, I've used Trello, and every single one that we have tried, there's ActiveCampaign right there. Every single one that we've tried, the connection between Typeform and that is actually, it's really solid. So it's never failed us. It's never broke. The API has been reliable the entire time. And if you want to get really fancy and you have a system that can actually receive webhooks, you can also create a webhook, which again, I have done before, and I have found it to be very reliable. So all in all, from a survey instrument that allows you to do both lead gen and application funnels and allows you to stay on brand, it natively integrates and embeds inside of your environment, Typeform is by the best option out there. Okay. But Typeform can be a little pricey. So if you are a little bit more budget minded, you can also use Google Forms. Now you can embed a Google form. It's not going to look good. You can't really handle any of the branding, and you're going to have to manage the redirect. Google Forms out of the box does not handle redirects. So let me just pull this up. It will handle logic, so not the sophistication logic that like Typeform does, but usually it's good enough logic for lead gen and for application funnels. So if you are building a Google Forms, again, you can embed it, no problem. But when they're done, and I've been having this issue all day of Google not recognizing that I'm logged in. It's very funny. But anyway, so it is, it'll load here in just a second. And let me see if I have a good one. So yes. So for instance, I was doing usability testing on a feature that I had released, right? And so this is just another example. It's really easy to make Google Forms. They go right into a Google Sheet. So you have all your results right there and you can embed it from that Google Sheet. You can zap the data over to your active campaign or to we can't do it into ClickFunnels 2.0 yet. So you would still need that third-party CRM in order to do something with the data, right? Which is the second part of the equation. But from a pure, like, I can create the form and I can get it to do what I need it to do, Google Forms is a viable alternative. It doesn't have the slick integration. And when it comes to redirecting, so after I submit, I think they just recently did add a redirect option. Let me take a look here. So that it can, let's see. No. So there is Dan has created a little bit of a code that handles the redirect on Google Forms. So, which is really nice. So that means after they submit, I can redirect to the next step in my funnel, right? Which is ultimately what we're going to have to do no matter what. The very, very low tech way of doing that, but the likelihood of you losing people is high, is at the very last question. You could say, congratulations, submit. And, you submitted. Thank you for doing that. Click here to continue, right? And they click on the link, right? Super low tech way. The chance of them going away is high, but it is possible if you want to do it that way. Okay. So those are the two options that we recommend. Google Form is a little bit higher lift manually, but lower cost. Typeform is by far the best, and it'll handle both the application, the lead gen, and the application. Google Forms could do both lead gen and application, just with the redirect issue that you'd have to address. Okay. And the second step is, okay, the reason that quiz funnels and application funnels are so powerful is because it allows me to take the data from the quiz funnel and take the data from the application funnel and put it into my CRM so that I can target my customers. So, example, I have a client who he has what's called a higher self quiz. So he has a link in his bio. It takes them to a ClickFunnels page that shows the higher self quiz. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing for a second so I can show you guys exactly what this looks like so you can get a sense of it. And again, this is all for the purpose of lead gen. So, all right. And he's been doing a lot out on TikTok, which has been awesome. Actually, I'll show you another one. There's two of them that are doing something similar. So let me pull up his ClickFunnels page so you can kind of take a look. So his current strategy that he's testing out is to go live on TikTok and then to bring people into what he calls the higher self quiz. Give me 1 second. All right. Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'll be right back. I don't know where it's at. Okay. It's the rule of lives. Let's see. Sorry. I found him. Okay, hold on. Okay, cool. There you go. All right, awesome. Yeah. All right. So, thanks, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me go ahead and show this on the screen. Okay. So again, he is out on TikTok. He is saying, hey, come into my live. And of course, the rule of live. This is here we go. And it's currently, so right now, and I'm wondering I think he changed this recently. So essentially, this is a ClickFunnels page. And you see right here where this blank is where the Typeform would go. So it's nicely embedded. They'd come right here. They'd come to the ClickFunnels page. They'd go through the Typeform and then be able to progress forward. And I'll show you one other example so you guys can actually see it inside of the funnel. All right, so let me go ahead and pull this. All right. All right, so we'll go ahead and pull this up. Okay, cool. So this has another one, very similar strategy, where he is currently, his Wild West strategy is TikTok. And we've been talking a lot about YouTube, but currently his Wild West strategy is on TikTok. And so what he'll do is he'll go live and he'll invite people into the quiz funnel. And this one is, let me go ahead and show my screen. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is his link in bio, and he's going to go ahead and take the higher self assessment. So he's going to come here, and you can see right here, this is the embedded type form, right? So super cool. He branded this exactly as is. I think the way that it turned out on the funnel, they did a great job. We can't take credit for this one, actually. It was him and another group or another woman that was helping him do this. Very great job. And so they come in, this is an embedded type form right here. So I would go through and you can see I can answer the questions. Now, one thing that he did really well in the questions that he asked in his higher self-assessment is these are educational as I'm doing it, which is really important as a lead gen technique, right? I need it to be educational. So I'm going to come through, I'm going to answer all of these questions. Now, what Typeform is doing is it's actually giving me a score in the background, right? So Typeform is working in the background. ClickFunnels doesn't know who I am right now. ClickFunnels doesn't have the information of the contact. Neither does ActiveCampaign yet, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep fulfilling all of these questions. And the only thing that I would say is missing on this is a little progress. Like how long do I have? How many questions have I answered? So a nice little progress bar would be awesome. But okay, I'm going to go ahead and keep going through on this. I'm answering all the questions and I'm just fake answering them right now. And as all of this data has come through, it's coming through on Typeform. One thing on Typeform is you don't get partial answers. So I won't see these answers unless I actually submit at the very end. So, but what's really important is that at the end of this is going to group me into one of three categories in terms of where I'm at in my higher consciousness journey. So he has an email sequence that's associated with each one of those. He has a really cool program that talks about the higher self and the lower self, and he has key resources based off of which lower self thing you're struggling with, right? And so his follow-up, he just wants it to be specific to how people answered on the quiz. Now, in order to do that, the system that you send emails out, aka your CRM system, has to know what did they score on the quiz. So the only way to do that is from Typeform. After I get my quiz results, so right here, I'm going to go ahead and share my quiz results. And I'm going to come in here. Okay, all right, and let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and submit. So now it is on my Typeform. It's handling, forgot the period. That was nice, Typeform. Way to make sure I give a legit email. So nice. All right, and so then it takes me to my interpretation. Now, you can see this is like super hard to read and really small. This is the lower self-assessment. But what's really cool about this is that, obviously this is where the score app comes into play. This isn't the best experience because it's super tiny, but I can see my score here and I'm going to get an email that gives me this report, right? And it's not really a customized report because there's only, like 3 possible reports, right? In terms of how to interpret the report. So this automatically goes into Typeform. Typeform is natively integrated with ActiveCampaign. Once it goes into my ActiveCampaign, then you can adjust the custom fields right here to know what was my score result. So now that I have the score result, it's been fed in through Typeform to my ActiveCampaign. Now I can update this customer segment data. So now I know how they did on the quiz. I know how to follow up with them in an intelligent way based on what they need help with or what they've identified on the quiz. And they've got a really cool report. The few things that I would say that I would change in this particular funnel is instead of, launching them right back to the report, it would be good to then say, take me to the next step in the funnel. We do see this, read more. And inside of, we created a membership site so that people can go into the membership site and learn more. You can also click there. This is a little bit hard to read, so I would probably just increase the opacity on the background there so you can actually read that, the text. But then it goes into book a call, right? So I'm giving them value. I'm doing the score with them. I'm giving them their own customized results. I'm showing them like, hey, you might need help with this. Here's how you scored. And then right there's a book a call. Okay. Super nice flow. Plus I have all their information in my active campaign. So then I can send that out. Now, here's the problem. If you are in ClickFunnels 1.0, this is where the survey technology, and even if you were using a type form, it doesn't actually go on to the customer fields. And that's part of the biggest challenge whenever you're doing quiz funnels and for purpose of lead gen and application funnels, is because at the end of the day, yes, we want to provide a valuable thing, especially with a lead gen technique to our customers. We have to be able to get that data into our custom fields on our contacts so that we can in a meaningful way follow up with them. Okay. And so in 1.0, it's really not possible. You could zap, but dealing with custom fields in 1.0 is kind of not really even a thing, right? Like it just doesn't exist. In ClickFunnels 2.0, the promise and the architecture seems to be in place for managing custom fields, but at this current time, you can't adjust custom fields, and you can't feed into custom fields from any kind of third party. The other thing is ClickFunnels does have a survey element, but the reason why we don't use a survey element, aside from it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles of the redirects and it kind of has redirects, but and the logic, it kind of has logic, but the biggest issue is it doesn't actually send the data onto the custom field, the customer field, in order for me to then be able to retarget, which is the number one reason I think why you do lead quiz funnels as lead gen and application funnels. So, okay. And then if I was using Google Forms, it would be the same process. I would just need to insert Zapier in order to get the Google sheet that the form data goes onto to feed into the custom fields in your active campaign. Okay. So that is, and from a general flow standpoint, when you're looking at the various technologies out there, what you want to be thinking about. Now let's run down a couple other options. So we talked about Typeform being the best possible option. Google Forms is definitely a viable alternative. There's just a little bit more lift in the customer experience part of it and the technical integration part of it, but all doable. Okay. And it's at a good price point. It's free. Then the third one is I have played around with Jotforms. I have a client who loves Jotforms. And so it is definitely a good option. The whole historic reason why Jotforms used to be recommended by me was because it was the only survey tool out there that was actually HIPAA compliant for all of the medical people out there. But nowadays, Typeform has actually increased their HIPAA compliance level. And so Typeform is now a viable survey alternative for even if you are dealing with HIPAA compliant type of information or just you need to be sensitive, I guess, on the HIPAA level. So Jotform is a possible out there, but I still think Typeform is better. Another one out there that's really popular that I see sometimes, I've seen Gravity Forms, but it's kind of expensive and it's a heavyweight and it is a little bit clunky. And so again, Typeform is a lot better, just from easier to use, easier to integrate, a little less expensive. Other ones that I've seen that are popular out there, there's one that is escaping my mind right now. It'll come to me. But the last one that I think is noteworthy, and it won't help you if you're trying to do an application funnel. This one is really, if you are serious about quizzes being your lead gen technique, then I highly recommend a tool out there called Score App. It is an additional cost. It is an additional part of your tech stack. But what they have really cornered the market on is when I'm using Score App, I can essentially make my quiz, but then it's in the custom reporting. So I can actually auto generate an email that sends a very customized report based on how somebody scores. And it totally natively integrates with ActiveCampaign or Airtable or whatever CRM system that you're using. So it is a standalone. I have not had a lot of success embedding it into funnels. It's kind of clunky and unreliable. But if you have an opt-in page, right, where you don't even get their information, right, you just have a funnel and say you want to take a quiz, and it's just like a button. And instead of like a pop-up experience, you basically do a redirect, and it has a really nice landing page. They do the first opt-in, so you can get their email right away. They take the quiz, and then you have a completely on-screen customized report that looks a lot better than what we saw that Typeform was able to do. And it auto-generates a downloadable PDF that's customized into the person's inbox. And it natively integrates so that the score that people got can automatically go into my active campaign. It also scores people on 2 levels. So let's say that you have like categories, right? And then you have particular questions. So people can get a score based on a category level, and they can get a score based on like individual question levels. So it's really, really cool that way. Again, it is an additional tech cost. It is an additional price point, but if you want to get serious about quizzes as your lead gen technique, Score App is one that I highly recommend. Okay. So last thing that I'll leave you guys with is that when you are focused on using the survey elements, as we'll say it, right? I think right now I don't recommend the ClickFunnels survey elements just because the reason why you're using survey elements is to bring people through, if it's a lead gen purpose, to educate them along the way, be able to give them custom results, but then most importantly, be able to follow up with them in a customized, personalized, meaningful way. If it's for the purpose of application and I actually care about what they say on their application, again, I need that data on the contact record so that when I am on my call with that person, I can see that data and I can help them to be able to move into a buying decision. Or if they don't buy, I can follow up with them in a meaningful way based on the information they gave me on the application. So for that purpose, we really do need quiz tools and survey tools in order to successfully carry this out. Best recommendation out there is Typeform. Second best if you're on a budget is Google Forms. And if you are using Google Forms, just hit up Dan in the Geek Out community. He does have a little bit of code to help you on the redirect. So that is all about quiz and application funnels. If you guys do have any questions, you can go ahead and drop them now if you have them. If not, then go ahead and give me just a hashtag replay if you're catching this on the replay. We can answer any questions inside of the Geek Out group that you have. If you are really trying to use the survey element for whatever reason in ClickFunnels, we can definitely help you with that. Other than, I would just be prepared. I might say I wouldn't use them, but if you really are trying to use them, we can definitely go down that rabbit hole with you and try to help. But if not, then again, we highly recommend Typeform, Google Forms, or if you're serious about quiz funnels, the Score app is by far the best. So, all right, if there's no questions, I'm going to go ahead and peel off. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in to Geek Talk, where we get to just go super geeky with you guys on how to leverage ClickFunnels inside of your world, how to make the funnel strategy come to life, and be able to serve your humans how you want to serve them. So thank you all for tuning in. Hit us up with any questions and have a wonderful Wednesday.